Have you ever stopped to think about what psychology really is? It's so much more than what you see in the movies. It's not all just couches and ink blots. We're going to dig into how this field went from being a philosophical study of the soul to the powerhouse science of mind and behavior that we know today.
So let's just jump right in. The word psychology itself tells a story. It comes from two Greek words, psych, which means soul, and logos, which means study. So way back when, it was literally the study of the soul. I mean, how cool is that? But fast forward to today, and the definition is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. That is a huge jump, right? From soul to science. So how in the world did that happen?
Well, you can actually see the field kind of wrestling with itself over the years. In 1890, you had William James, a giant in the field, calling it the science of mental life. All about our inner world, right? But then, just a couple decades later, J.B. Watson and the behaviorists came along and basically flipped the table. They said, hey, if you can't see it, if you can't measure it, it's not science. And bam, the pendulum swung way over to focusing only on observable behavior. Luckily, today's definition from the American Psychological Association is much more balanced. It brings both ideas together. Because let's face it, our inner thoughts and our outer actions are totally connected.
Okay, so keeping that whole journey in mind, let's nail down the modern definition of psychology that everyone works with today.
So when we say the scientific study of behavior and mental processes, what are we really talking about? Well, first, that phrase scientific study is key. It means we're using evidence, we're using systematic methods, not just, a gut feeling. Then you have behavior. That's all the stuff we do on the outside that you can see. And finally, mental processes. That's our private inner world, our thoughts, our feelings, our memories. It's the whole package.
So if psychology is a science, what actually makes it a science? What's in the psychologist's toolkit? Let's take a look at the core characteristics that really define the field.
Psychology really stands on a few key pillars. It's built on systematic observation and experiments. We're talking about rigorous, methodical work, not just random stories. And it's incredibly flexible. It can zoom in to study a single person or zoom out to look at the complex dynamics of huge groups. What's really unique is how it balances the objective, the stuff we can measure, with the subjective, our inner experiences. And it doesn't exist in a bubble. It's constantly talking to other fields, like biology, sociology, even computer science.
And this brings us to what I like to think of as the two sides of psychology's coin. On one side, you have observable behaviors. These are the things anyone can see and measure, right? Like someone talking or crying or walking across the room. But on the other side, you have the internal mental processes, all the thoughts, emotions, and memories that are driving those actions. Modern psychology says you absolutely need to study both to get the full picture. One without the other just doesn't make much sense.
All right, so we know what psychology is, we know how it works like a science, but what does it actually try to do? What's the end game? Turns out, the field has a really clear four-step mission that gives us a roadmap for understanding, well, us. See, psychology isn't just about collecting a bunch of interesting facts about the human brain. Nope, it has a very purposeful, four-part mission. It's a process for understanding, and here's the important part, for ultimately trying to improve the human condition. Think of this mission like a logical journey. It always starts with description, just simply asking, okay, what's going on here? Then it moves to explanation, trying to figure out why it's happening. Once you have a good idea why something is happening, you can try to make a prediction about what might happen in the future. And all of this leads to the final step, control or modification, using everything we've learned to help create positive change.
Let's make this a little more real. So a clinical psychologist might start by describing the specific symptoms of depression a person is feeling. Then they'll work to explain the potential causes of someone's anxiety. Is it biological? Is it environmental? A school psychologist might use data to predict how well a student might do academically. And finally, a therapist could use proven techniques to help someone control or even overcome a phobia. You see how each step builds on the one before it? It's a really powerful process.
And honestly, this is the real heart of it all. It's about taking this messy, confusing, wonderful thing we call the human experience, applying a scientific framework to it, and then using that knowledge to actually help people live better, healthier, and more meaningful lives. So, psychology gives us this amazing toolkit to describe, explain, predict, and influence behavior, which kind of leaves us with one last thought. If you had that toolkit and you could use it to truly understand just one human behavior, maybe in yourself or in the world, what would you choose? What are you most curious about?